and welcome to this special on Venus going direct out of retrograde. I'm Amani. I'm a karmic, holistic, astrological life coach, and I like to go in depth in all that I do, and all of my interpretations, especially when it comes to Venus, Mercury, Sun transits and everything really, are based on Vedic astrology, which is based on where the planets or the luminaries, which are the sun and the moon, are any given time in the sky, and all times are in GMT time as well. So yeah, thanks for listening, and yeah. So this year, Venus goes direct on the 13th of April until the 31st of May, and it's going to stay direct for quite a while until when Venus goes retrograde again in about 2 years. So yeah. So when Venus goes direct out of retrograde, our relationships can get like a reboot, you know. So it's kind of like our relationship software gets a massive system update after all the self-reflection we've done or should have done when Venus was retrograde, about our values, about our relationships, about our sense of beauty, about the ways we give and receive love or may reject love, you know. So when Venus stations direct, we're essentially emerging from an intense emotional detox tunnel. It's still going to be in its shadow period, meaning that, you know, it's not going to be fully out of the retrograde zone until about 2 months, so about June the 13th. But yeah, so ultimately, during Venus retrograde, we were meant to dig deep into our heart's true desires and find out what we want. We should have been reviewing, reassessing, rethinking, and basically doing an emotional spring clean of our love life and needs and values. So Venus going direct, our relationship patterns get a total reality check. Hidden emotional truths may surface, there could be radical relationship, you know, get back togethers. For some of you, you know, you may have gone back to an ex, or ex may have sold up and left again, who knows. And it gave us a chance and for personal growth, you know, if we use it in the right way, especially in the way that we use our love and our values. So when Venus goes direct, it brings some serious manifestation magic. We can move forward with the wisdom that we should have gained when Venus was retrograde, right? So it can give us clearer relationship boundaries as we crystallize our thoughts that were gathered up and our insights during Venus retrograde into actionable energy, words, doing the things that we need to do if we didn't already start them in Venus retrograde, because some of you may have, you know. So it gives us authentic connection strategies, deeper self-love activation and magnetic attraction frequencies. Some of you may attract a new lover into your life, but on the negative end, you know, because it isn't all sparkles and rainbows, we may experience residual emotional processing, because Venus is going direct now. As I said, it's still in its shadow period. Doesn't mean we're going to be feeling fine, especially if it was affected by this energy. If you had strong aspects to Venus or the second house or the 7th house, you know, because Venus rules Taurus and Libra, you know. So, you know, if you've got a strong 7, even 11th house, you know, aspects as well, because esoterically, Uranus rules Libra. And then even if you've got strong 9th house Sagittarius energy in your chart as well, you know, because Venus is going direct in Pisces this year, you know. So even if you've got strong Neptune, Pisces, Jupiter aspects in your chart, you may have felt this really deeply. So, you know, we can have uncomfortable conversations negatively, and they can be really overwhelming and chaotic for some of you. There can be intense emotional recollaborations where, you know, things just hit you in a deep way, and it can just be a bit, you know, because could shake you up, and you may want to run away into intoxicating substances, because that's always the negative of Venus, especially Pisces energy, escapism into intoxicating substances or relationships, right? So to really work with this Venus direct energy, we want to journal about our retrograde insights, and we should have been journaling all the way through Venus retrograde anyway. Practice radical self-honesty, create intentional relationship agreements, release what no longer serves you for your highest good, and just rewrite your relationship narrative, your relationship stories, not just with others but with yourself, because sometimes we don't forgive ourselves, we don't heal ourselves, and this can lead to us rejecting ourselves. But we need to work on our self-love, acceptance and awareness. So our mantra can be, I choose love, authenticity and radical self-respect. Ultimately, Venus going direct in Pisces can motivate our creativity, making us feel more inspired and artistic, exploring new hobbies. It can deepen our emotional connections, because this energy creates empathy and compassion, helping us to connect on a deeper level. And this energy is going to stay with us the whole time. Venus is direct over the next 2 years, even though Venus will move through different signs of the zodiac. But because when it went direct out of retrograde within Pisces, this energy is going to flavour the whole time. It is in different zodiac signs over the next 2 years. So yeah, this increase in compassion can help us connect on a deeper level with ourselves and others, which is really good. It's all about understanding and sharing feelings in a meaningful way. It can also help us have a sense of oneness if we put our time into spiritual practices like Tai Chi, yoga, meditation and anything else, and building a connection to something greater than ourselves. It's time to explore our spiritual side and find inner peace. But because negatively we can be overly sensitive, it's important to set and protect our emotional boundaries and take time for self-care. The emotional confusion about our feelings or feelings of others can cause us to, just be a bit chaotic. It's crucial to communicate openly and honestly. It can make us idealise relationships as well, and this can lead to disappointment if things don't meet our high expectations right now. It's important for us to keep a balanced perspective and focus on the present. So, the best use of this energy is to practice self-care, reflect on your desires, nurture your connections and be creative. Ultimately, this transit is a beautiful opportunity to connect with your creative and emotional self and develop growth and harmony in your personal and spiritual life if you choose to. So now I'm going to go in depth, talking more about the positive, practical applications of Venus going direct, how it affects our relationships, more about the spiritual meanings, psychological meanings, the karmic meanings, how it affects our relationships and the best things to do, and questions to ask yourself while Venus is direct to help you with your self-reflection. So positively, on the practical level, it can bring us renewed confidence in relationships. Feelings of uncertainty can lift, allowing for clearer communication and decision making in romantic and social relationships. It gives us a chance, to move forward in love and finance. Projects or relationships put on hold during Venus retrograde can now progress smoothly, which can bring relief and excitement to you. Our social relationships can become more vibrant, creating new connections and, revitalising and reconnecting existing ones. So if you felt distant or you broke up friends or relationship with someone, you may come back together now. And it's really a great energy for creative plans and self-care routines and encouraging new plans and personal growth. But negative practical applications are that the rush of moving forward can feel like we're, just overwhelmed, especially with multiple delayed decisions or commitments moving forward all at once. So just be gentle with yourself, make a list, remember one step at a time, don't overpromise and only do what you can, Past relationship issues may surface, as I said, only because Venus is out of retrograde doesn't mean that the things that happens when Venus retrograde won't happen, Old relationship dynamics, financial habits may reappear, requiring attention and resolution. We may be tempted to splurge, overspend after a period of restraint. We may just have, the initial enthusiasm we can feel when Venus goes direct may wane, go down quickly if not managed, and this can lead to, disappointment. So, reflect before acting, take time to assess decisions, ensuring they align with your values and goals, communicate openly, confront any lingering issues in relationships to build a stronger foundation, budget mindfully, avoid impulsive purchases by sticking to financial plans and prioritizing needs over wants, although I'm going to talk a bit more about the finances next, and just pace yourself to maintain energy levels and enthusiasm. This will ensure your long-term success and fulfillment and happiness, So I'm just going to talk a bit more about the effect of Venus direct on financial things there. So think of it like a financial fairy godmother, but we still have to put in hard work. So really this energy wants us to invest in ourselves, whether it's a course on or offline, gym membership, a fancy new gadget. Invest in the things that help you level up. Pay attention to your sleep, your beauty, your self-care and other routines, Treat yourself to a spa day or create one for yourself at home or in your room or whatever. Give yourself a fresh new look. You deserve it. Renegotiate and rebuild, if you've been eyeing on a better deal on something, now is the time to negotiate, whether it's a rent, a business deal or even a phone plan, go for it and rebuild any financial plans that went sideways during retrograde, because this energy is giving us a clean slate. So it's good for setting up a new marketing, saving budget and things like that, But negatively, again, we may overindulge, blowing the budget. So just watch out that we don't go over budget. And if you did go over budget during retrograde, because this can happen, the emotions, we feel overwhelmed. Now is the time to return or sell the items that don't bring you happiness, because your future self will thank you. In terms of your debt drama, if you racked up any debt during retrograde or any other time, it's time to face the music, create a plan to pay it off. Your wallet, your bank balance and your stress levels will appreciate it, and also be cautious about lending money and borrowing money from others as well. Make sure you're not enabling other people's bad habits, funding other people's lifestyles or putting yourself in a tight spot. Only do what you can afford right now and plan and save, but also invest in the things that are going to uplift your psychological, emotional, spiritual and physical and financial health. So in terms of politically, we can have more peace talks. Political leaders may actually start listening to each other and working together. It's a great energy to use for grassroots movements to gain progress. Your voice matters, so speak up. Social justice can come into the spotlight, like human rights, equality. People can stand up for what they believe in as well as you. There can be more of a focus on mental health and wellness in general. Because a healthy society is a happy society, so we have to get back to basics. We have to get back to the fundamentals of taking care of our emotional, psychological and spiritual health, our physical health. So but negatively, politically, some leaders may resist the push for change, leading to tension. So stay informed, but don't let it stress you out. Be cautious of manipulative tactics that some folks may try to spin things to their advantage, leader slinging mode, saying things that are not true to incite us as the public and get us to, vote for them, but we're not voting for them on truth and stuff. There can be social media drama. It can be a breeding ground for misinformation, so double check your sources before sharing anything. And cancel culture may rear its ugly head again, so remember, everyone deserves a chance to grow and learn, in terms of the social collective vibes. The world can be on the shopping spree when Venus goes direct. Retail therapy can be highly tempting, but don't let FOMO, fear of missing out, control your wallet or your bank balance. Buy what you need, not just what you want. People may just overindulge in fast fashion and impulsive buys. Remember, sustainability is key. Choose quality over quantity. There can just be social pressure to, spend more, keep up with the Joneses, have more. But guess what? You don't have to play the game, which is true. Focus on what truly makes you happy, not what's trending. So, the practical steps of Venus going direct is reflect and review, invest wisely, and stay grounded. So journal about what's worked, what didn't work. Use these insights to move forward. If a relationship has ended, give yourself the time to heal. You're stronger than what you think. Put your money into things that bring long-term value, whether it's education, health, or good old-fashioned savings. Avoid get-rich-quick schemes. Slow and steady wins the race every time. So yeah, as I said, practice daily gratitude, stay grounded. Remember, balance is key. Focus on what you have, not what you lack. Get involved in causes you care about, whether it's volunteering, donating, and just spreading awareness. Your impact matters. Use your voice to stand up for what's right, because the change, it starts with you, it starts with us, right? Psychologically, it can increase our confidence in relationships, creating more sociable and open behaviour and more trust with ourselves as we indulge in inner work, shadow work, inner child work, really getting to the bottom of our emotional and psychological and spiritual instability and working to get more stable. We can find resolutions of past issues by doing that deep personal development work, and our communication can become clearer as well. But negatively, there can be a pressure to be in a relationship if we're single, and insecurities can come up from comparing ourselves to others. So remember, the only person you need to compare yourself to is yourself. And, just keep on working steadily towards your goals. In terms of the spiritual aspect, as I said earlier, it can renew our connection to our inner self and the universe, our higher power, our higher self, increasing our intuition in relationships. We can align with our true values in our love and partnerships, but negatively, we can seek external validation for self-worth and esteem, and this can lead to spiritual imbalance. So we need to work through our trauma so we can get validation from within ourselves, rather than relying on external people, products and services, to give us that buzz, that high that always fleets. In terms of the esoteric hidden meanings, revelation of hidden knowledge or patterns in relationships can come up. There can be clarity and karmic ties and past life connections, because sometimes with lovers, esoterically, we spent lifetimes after lifetime being toxic with them or having such a deep love with them, but sometimes we have to move on to the new, and it can be painful, and we also just have to watch out for ignoring red flags or repeating unhealthy patterns unconsciously, because a lot of the time these feelings are unconscious. We're not conscious of the fact that we've lived many lifetimes with these ex going round the circles and circles. On the symbolic creative levels, it wants us to express ourselves in art, music and dancing, and whatever it is that makes you feel creative, and especially using creativity to work through your psychological, emotional and spiritual traumas as well. And it wants us to just focus on the love and beauty in our life, taking pleasure in the simple things, being open to new beginnings and renewal in creative projects. Negatively, We can overindulge in creative plans, forgetting our, day-to-day routine and personal responsibilities, and this can cause an imbalance in other areas of our lives. We just have to try and find that balance and not to overindulge in things, especially intoxicating substances. I know it can be hard to face our problems, but this energy wants us to face them with love and compassion, and it provides the energy for us to be more empathetic to ourselves and others. So in terms of the emotional aspects, it wants us to find happiness from within and within our relationships and feel more connected and appreciated by healing our past wounds and just finding happiness in the simple things, as I said. But negatively, emotional over-attachment and excessive focus on material comfort can lead to dissatisfaction. So ultimately, in terms of our psychological confidence, we can get that by tapping into our spiritual practices more, whether it's meditation, Tai Chi, yoga or anything else. Expressing ourselves creatively can help with our emotional, psychological and spiritual well-being, but we just need to watch out for getting attached to negative things, and seeking validation from within is the best kind of love. Self-love is the best love. I can vouch for that. So now I'm just going to talk about the aspects that Venus is making when it goes direct this year, and these will flavour the whole period Venus is direct for the next 2 years. So the moon makes a quincunx to Venus, so this can add to the tension and add to the minor misunderstandings due to the emotional changes we're going up and down, So, this positively helps us with our emotional clarity and understanding in relationships. The sun semi-sextile to Venus helps us to socialise and be more charming and pleasant and compromise in our relationships, but it can add to us overthinking about how others think about us, Mercury's conjunction to Venus creates clear and loving communication in relationships, so supporting us to resolve relationship issues, but negatively this can lead to over-analysing our relationships. Venus also makes a trine to Mars, but this can ignite, spark up our passion and energy, but it can also add to the impulsive decisions we can make, the overspending, but it's perfect for romantic and creative plans. Venus makes a conjunction to Saturn. This strengthens our commitment and trust in relationships, but we may feel restricted and heavy. Saturn can make us just overly serious, but it gives that grounding energy, supporting us to make the changes and take personal accountability, right? Venus's sextile to Uranus encourages us to be open to new ideas and brings excitement in our relationships, but it can add to the unpredictability of our actions and reactions and other people's actions and reactions, So again, grounding is key. Venus makes a conjunction to Neptune, which again can make our romantic date nights and relationships seem magical and creative right now, but negatively we can ignore the red flags and have unrealistic expectations. So ask the right questions, don't just see what you want to see. Be mindful of others manipulating you. Do not manipulate others, because it can come back, it always comes back to bite you in the bum, whether it's 5, 10, 20 years down the line, or next lifetime, as Erica Badu sings, So Venus makes a semi-sextile to Chiron, so this helps us to focus on healing and creating empathy in relationships, but it can bring up old emotional wounds. Venus makes a conjunction to the moon's north node, so this helps us and supports us with having meaningful relationships, repairing the right relationships, aligning with our highest potential, but also can add to the overthinking about our future and other things we can do. Venus's opposition to the south node helps us to release old patterns and promotes our liberation from our toxic thoughts, habits, relationships and self-destructive habits, but it can add to the confusion, so again, grounded is key, right? So ultimately, all of these energies helps us with our healing, being open to new ideas, being more passionate about our creative and romantic plans and our self-love plans, helps us with loving and clear communication, and helps us to make purposeful new connections. But we just have to watch out for overthinking. We may have trouble adjusting to our new emotions that may come in, We can be impulsive in our decisions, so we have to watch out for that. We can feel restrictive in our feelings, emotionally cold and detached and shut off. So, work through these. If you need time out from a relationship, just stay and don't have unrealistic expectations, and be gentle with yourself as the old wounds come up, So use this energy to communicate clearly, embrace new things, and align with your purpose, and seek relationships that align with your life purposes and values as well, So now I'm just going to talk about the transiting aspect patterns that influence Venus going direct. So we've got a T-square, a yod, and a 5-point stellium, so a lot, right? So the T-square between the Sun, Chiron, Mars, and the Moon. So we've got Chiron in Pisces, Mars in Cancer, and the Moon in Virgo. This allows us to confront our emotional wounds and helps with our self-reflection and uncovering deep-seated patterns, self-destructive thoughts and behaviours, that we need to let go of slowly and steadily. And we will fail, but after every failure, make sure you keep on getting up, and this is how you will succeed, by day-to-day action. Also, because Mars is in Cancer, it can add to the emotional intensity, and so we just have to be mindful of how our emotions drive our decisions and communications. But the Moon in Virgo allows us to have practical emotional analysis, helping us analyse feelings with clarity and in a grounded way, but can also add to the overthinking, The yard between the Moon, Venus, Saturn, and the North Node and Uranus basically guides us towards spiritual growth and disciplined responsibility in our relationships, helps us balance our emotions with spirituality, encouraging a balance between practical emotions and intuition and creative relationships, It also brings stability to our new ideas and innovation, and helps us to become more stable in our financial decisions and relationship choices as well, helping us integrate new ideas while maintaining our security. The 5-point stellium in Pisces helps us with our creative expression and increases our sensitivity and connection to our inner world, and this is really good because we need to find that self-love and heal our emotional, spiritual and psychological wounds. It can help us be more disciplined in our spirituality as well, helping us to commit to our inner growth and karmic lessons. And the North Node in Pisces guides us towards our spiritual destiny, emphasising the importance of letting go of our past patterns and embracing new and meaningful connections. So this is all good, So ultimately, the T-square and the yard support our healing and growth. The stellium and the yard supports us with creating an intuitive and creative approach and just feeling renewed in our relationships, So now I'm just going to talk about the karma of Venus going direct. So, the main lesson is releasing, letting go of old patterns and renewing our approach to relationships, especially the relationship with ourselves and our personal values. It's time to let go of what no longer serves you and embrace new, healthier dynamics. It's a lesson in self-worth and love and acceptance, awareness and forgiveness, understanding our true worth and learning to love unconditionally. It's a lesson in valuing ourselves and others without attachment to the outcomes, and it also helps balance our karma, especially in relationships. It's a chance to heal old wounds and create harmony. So in terms of past life memories and the dreams that may come up right now, we may recall past life or current life experience of romantic relationships that ended abruptly or were unrequited. These memories can surface to help you understand patterns in your current relationships, helping you to let go of, toxic relationship habits, dreams or memories of past lives where we were artists or we were focused on being creative can come up, inspiring us to explore similar patterns now. Past life traumas, related to love, betrayal or lost, dreams around these or memories can come up, and these are opportunities for healing and release. Collectively, on the karmic level, we can just push for healing in relationships, encouraging unity and cooperation, especially in relationships between nations that are warring and stuff like that. We can focus more on creating balance in our resources and wealth, promoting fairness and equality for all. We can just, have more love for the environment as well, and wanting to care more for our environment, especially in our home, and this can influence our beauty and harmony, and just give us that, I'm going to recycle more, I'm going to look after, the things I buy more, take care of my current possessions more, so I don't always buy new things all the time. So now I'm going to talk about how Venus direct affects our relationships. So in terms of our family relationships, it can bring more harmony and balance back to our family dynamics, making it easier to resolve conflicts. It can increase our empathy. Family members may feel more empathetic towards each other, creating deeper connections. Venus's direct motion can inspire us to create solutions to long-standing family issues. Negatively, issues that arose during retrograde may still linger, causing temporary tension. Misunderstandings can come up and persist if we don't confront them openly, because we can be passive aggressive and avoid issues, and sometimes we can't get closure from people we want closure from. We have to get the closure ourselves, and some family members may still feel distant, and it can require effort to reconnect. So we have to practice active listening and giving people space, and trying to put ourselves in other people's perspectives and shoes, while working through our issues. In terms of friendships, our friendship bonds can strengthen, bringing more a sense of, connection and happiness. And we can just have new friends that come into our life, or we can expand our social circle in general. Friendships may become more supportive and nurturing, but negatively, unresolved issues from retrograde can affect the dynamics of some friendships. We can just have change in our priorities. Friends may reassess their priorities, leading to temporary distance, and like I said, we may decide to let go of some friends, or some friends may decide to let go of us, and it can be painful, but also it's what needs to happen sometimes, and miscommunication can cause misunderstandings, so clear communication is key. So in terms of committed couples, our passion can be reignited, we can feel more connected and committed. Couples may find it easier to communicate openly and resolve conflicts. In terms of renewed commitment, it can strengthen our commitment to each other, creating a deeper bond, as I said, as we share more intimate activities together, like spirituality and, hobbies, shared hobbies, going on picnics, stuff like that, that just make us feel close, watching TV shows together, But negatively, unresolved conflicts from retrograde may still need attention. It may take time for both partners to fully reconnect after retrograde, and external factors, pressures, work and other commitments can still impact the relationship, requiring mutual support. In terms of hookup relationships, it can bring more excitement and fun back to casual relationships, making them more enjoyable. Both parties or all parties may have clear intentions, leading to more straightforward interactions. This period can create mutual respect and understanding in hookup relationships. Negatively, uncertainty about the future of relationships. We can have mixed signals can get in the way. This can cause confusion. People may want commitment and think they're getting commitment. We may use pillow talk, sweet words to get what we want, but then, in the light of day, we may decide we don't want commitment, and, temporary distance can happen in hookups as well, while we reassess our feelings about the hookup, because as I said, one person may want commitment, the other doesn't, and, we may have to think about whether to move forward in hookups or not, In terms of those who are single and self-partnered, encourages self-love and personal growth and acceptance, helping us connect with our true self. It brings new romantic opportunities or a fresh perspective on love. We may feel more confident and clear about our desires and boundaries, but negatively, there can be a sense of impatience or restlessness about finding a partner. Reflections on past relationships may still linger, requiring closure. Singles may feel uncertain about their romantic future, needing time to clarify our goals, In terms of our career development, it brings renewed opportunities for, careers, especially in healing hearts, creativity or beauty related professions. We can have a renewed interest in our professional path, taking more of an interest in, is this the right career for me and stuff like that. We can have improved relationships with our co-workers and bosses and stuff. We can have increased creativity, our creative juices can flow more freely, and we can come up with innovative solutions and ideas at work. But negatively, Venus direct may bring up old patterns or habits that we previously held back in our career, so we just have to be mindful of repeating past mistakes, and we may, it's time to reevaluate our financial strategies, as Venus direct can sometimes bring unexpected expenses or changes in income, and we may have decision fatigue with all these decisions to make. We can just be fatigued, and this can lead to indecision. So again, just be gentle with yourself, take your time, do not rush. In terms of our personal development, it wants us to work on our self-love and confidence, and it empowers us to love ourselves and stay true to ourselves. It wants us to start new hobbies or restart hobbies we haven't done, and this can enrich our personal life and connection with our inner world. It can improve our boundaries, and it can help us move forward and set healthy boundaries, protecting our time and energy, but negatively, we can be emotionally sensitive, making us more reactive to personal situations. Old relationship dynamics might resurface, causing temporary emotional discomfort. And we have to be cautious not to overindulge in luxuries or comfort, as Venus direct can sometimes lead to excessive behaviour, So, just try and deal with the underlying issues of why you may feel kind of uncertain, rather than be excessive in behaviours and overindulge, In terms of your spiritual development, positively, it wants us to focus on our spiritual self. It allows us to align with our higher purpose, have more compassion and empathy to ourselves and others as well, and build more meaningful relationships with our higher self, our higher power and others. We can just find more inner peace and harmony by doing this as well. But negatively, we can feel spiritually overwhelmed, and this can cause temporary confusion and disorientation and us being overwhelmed. We might feel resistance, to new spiritual practices or changes in our spiritual path, and this can lead to stagnation, and doubt and fear related to our spiritual journey can, really get in the way of us, being open to spiritual healing, and we need to confront and release them rather than avoiding them. In terms of our educational development, it can just reignite our passion and motivation for learning, making our studies more engaging and enjoyable. It can make us more creative in our learning, helping us to grasp concepts in new and exciting ways. And it can improve our focus, our concentration can improve, supporting our academic success. But negatively, you know, it can make us distracted, making it harder for us to stay focused on our studies. There can be an overemphasis on aesthetics, you know, overly concerned with the appearance of our work rather than the content, the substance, you know, and we need to focus on the content and the substance, right? Forget about the aesthetics, you know, think about the bones, you know, the meat on the bones, you know, or on the vegan burger or whatever, you know, just what's inside, you know, inside the words rather than, you know, pretty writing and stylized this and that, you know. And we can just, you know, focus too much on perfectionism, and this can lead to unnecessary stress and pressure in our academic plans, you know, so we just need to watch out for that. In terms of self-partner development, Venus direct accelerates our self-love journey, helping us cultivate, you know, develop, create a deeper appreciation for ourselves. And that's what Venus energy is all about, getting in touch with our inner values, you know, investing time in our personal growth. And this can lead to greater self-awareness and fulfillment, you know, happiness. And it also wants us to embrace and vibe with our independence and, you know, thriving on our own terms, in our own rules to life, you know. But negatively it can add to loneliness that can come up, you know, especially if we focus too much on our self-partner development. So yes, you know, focus on it, but let others in who you can trust, you know. We can also have a fear of missing out, and this can cause us to worry about what we're missing out on socially or romantically as well. So, you know, try and not let FOMO get to you, but also, you know, if you are feeling lonely, you know, try and, of course, you know, work on this by building your inner connection. But, you know, sometimes you may want the company of others, and it's no shame in that as well, you know. And temporary self-doubt can also come up, questioning your choices and path as a self-partnered individual. You know, you can just feel like, oh, you know, am I really on the right journey? And I think, yes, you know, being self-partnered myself, I think it's a beautiful thing, you know, because it really makes you become more self-aware, accepting, forgiving of yourself and others. It helps you manage yourself, your moods better, you know, let go of your self-destructive habits and thoughts, and just be mindful of what you want in your environment, you know. So now I'm just going to finish up with the best things to do when Venus goes direct, and questions to ask yourself when Venus goes direct. So creatives, now is the perfect time to, you know, show off, unveil your latest creative plans or continue them, whether it's an art exhibition, a book launch or a new collection. Share your work with the world. It's a great energy to connect with fellow creatives, attend workshops or join creative communities to trigger, motivate new ideas. Allow your creativity to flow without bounds, whether it's painting, writing, dancing, designing. Let your passion shine through your work. Professionals, attend industry events or schedule meetings to strengthen professional connections. This is a great time to build your network. Venus direct is also a good time to negotiate, renegotiate contracts and seek new opportunities. Be confident in your worth and aim for new, better deals that are fair and equal. Update your professional image, whether it's through a new wardrobe or refining your online presence, making a lasting impression. Entrepreneurs, use this energy to increase your branding and marketing strategies. Ensure your brand reflects your values and appeals to your target audience. Launch new ventures, you know, and whether it's a new product or service, you know, this is a good energy to use over the 2 years to slowly, strategically build yourself up, you know. Don't be afraid, you can do it. And also great energy to strengthen your client relationships, focus on building trust and loyalty with your clients. Excellent customer service will set you apart. Alternative healers, you know, engage in meditation, yoga or other spiritual practices to connect with your inner self and increase your healing abilities. Share your knowledge by hosting workshops or one-on-one healing sessions, you know. Help others find balance and harmony. Prioritize your own well-being well-being. A health for you is better equipped to help others, Lovers organise a trip or special date night to reignite that spark in your relationships. Communicate openly, discuss your desires and feelings with your partner, and this will strengthen your bond. Open communication, being honest even when it can be painful, practicing active listening and creating safe spaces, and surprise your partner from time to time with thoughtful gestures or intimate moments to keep the flame alive. Single and self-partnered people, focus on nurturing yourself, engaging in activities that bring you joy and happiness, explore new interests, try new hobbies or classes to meet like-minded individuals and expand your social circle. Stay open to new connections while enjoying your independence, remain open to new relationships that align with your values and desires, as I said. So now I'm just going to talk about some questions you can ask yourself when Venus is direct. So in terms of questions to help you with your financial reflection, consider how you can create a more balanced budget that supports your financial goals. Ask yourself, what changes can I make to improve your financial stability? Reflect on your spending habits. Ask how I can align my spending with my inner values and priorities. Think about your future. Ask, what steps can I take to achieve my long-term financial objectives? In terms of emotional reflection, ask what emotional patterns come up and how can I confront them, and this can help you identify any recurring emotional patterns. Consider your relationships, ask how can I improve communication and connection with loved ones, with myself. In terms of building resilience, which is needed for life, especially in these times, right? Ask, how can I increase my emotional resilience and intelligence and awareness? In terms of spiritual reflection, ask, what practices can I commit to for a deeper spiritual connection? Ask yourself, how can I align my actions with my spiritual purpose and connect with my higher purpose? What steps can I take to create spiritual growth or restart spiritual growth? In terms of psychological reflection, ask yourself, what mental patterns do I need to change for better well-being and build my self-awareness? In terms of your mental health, ask yourself, how can I improve my mental health and self-talk? Because a lot of the time, the mind can be crazy, believe you and me, when we don't pay attention to it. And we don't need to get rid of all those negative thoughts, we just need to build new ones, because there's a quote, the key to success and change is focus on building the new. So building the new habits and the old ones will die. I can vouch for that, and you can ask yourself, what steps can I take to increase my self-awareness and growth? In terms of physical reflection, ask, what physical habits do I need to change for better health? Ask yourself, how can I improve my self-care practices? Ask yourself, what changes can I make to boost my physical energy, to make sure you keep your energy levels balanced, eating the right food, sleeping on time, exercising and stuff like that. So all in all, Venus direct brings a wave of renewal and progress across different aspects of our life. It gives us opportunity for growth and positive change, although it brings some challenges. We can feel overwhelmed, but steady as you go, and by vibing with the forward motion of Venus with an open heart and mind, we can navigate, work through this period with grace and make meaningful strides, progress in our journey of self-discovery, love, acceptance, awareness and care. So that's the end of this very in-depth special on Venus going direct. Take care and see you next time.